and me together at the same time while we have this conversation. And just to recap, in case you were wondering, it was a mouthful. He goes by the name of Armstrong Makome, and he comes all the way right from the outskirts of Mbombela, called 𝐖𝐀𝐓𝐂𝐇, and he already holds 2 qualifications, one in ICT, one in production, and already pursuing his postgraduate at the University of Mpumalanga for ICT. And he has immense amount of work experience, from him having his own mobile company to him having the ability to go out there and teach young people in high school, because he wants to prepare them for the gap that they're entering into the market, which is so crucial, because we do lack that a lot at times. So realistically, it really comes back to that sense where we need to ensure, how do we get this young generation Z ready, connected, and moving forward into the space of technology. So yeah, that's the beautiful conversation we're going to be having with him right now as we get him through here on the Morning Elevation.
Catch us on Facebook, WiggleTunes, Instagram, WiggleTunes, and on Twitter, WiggleTunes SA.
Don't forget to subscribe to our WiggleTunes channel. Subscribe, click that red button, turn it to gray. Is it gray or white? I don't know. You find out and you tell me what happened.
A few moments later.
That's it. And download our app on Google Play or iOS Store. WiggleTunes.
We are on all your social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
The number 1 station on YouTube.
What other way will you intellect yourself with some business? Join us here on WiggleTunes for Business Uncut.
When is Business Uncut?
Every Thursday from 5 to 6 for business news, views, and interviews.
Okay.
Taking you all the way from breakfast straight up to lunch on the Elevation Show. Weekdays from 10 to 1.
Hello, Armstrong. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm so excited. I finally got you right here on the Morning Elevation. Yeah, man. How are you doing this morning?
I'm very fine, thanks, ma'am. And yourself?
I'm absolutely brilliant, and thank you on behalf of myself, my team, and my listeners for joining us today as we sit down on Tech Tuesday. So we were going through a bit of your bio. Busy man, quite a busy man you are. You say that you come from, what is considered in South Africa more of a rural location, and yet here you are already. 2 qualifications, a 3rd one on the way, still finding time to run a business, still trying time to give back to your community and teach them in terms of the space that you're in. Help me here, find me here. How do you get to being so inspired, so motivated, so dedicated, and creating this level of success that you've managed to have this far?
Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I'm really honored. Yeah, it's a very honored to be with you. So yes, I think it's my background that inspired me to be where I'm at and to be driven as I am. So yeah, I'll just say it's my background that has driven me and wanting to bring about a change in my family. So I needed to be a busy person. So I needed to have that extra element that drives me to be an extraordinary individual.
So you consider yourself an extraordinary individual?
I think so.
Trust me, I think you are an extraordinary individual. Just to put an actual stamp to that, you got the approval from Zaba. But yeah, let's jump into this. You were talking about how your background influenced this. A lot of the times we hear these stories about African children living in poverty, living in difficulty. Are those one of the circumstances, or was it relatively different for you?
Definitely. Coming from an underprivileged background, I think it's part of the things that drive us as Africans. As we are in an African month, so we must acknowledge that as Africans, and it should be a drive to us to to try to be better in I guess.
Talking about Africanism and Heritage Month, what is it about your heritage that you love so much and inspires you? Because what we're seeing the gap here is the fact that we come from a generation where their heritage spoke about being skilled, being educated, having some sort of qualification like a teacher, doctor, social worker, but something like the internet or ICT wasn't really available to them, or wasn't an area. How do you take that, your history, your past, and bring it into this modern space that people are still struggling into? Where was the space that you managed to beat a gap that a lot of people never got the chance to?
I think it goes back to where, as an individual, where do you want to see yourself at, and also judging from the fact that you are Africans, and we need to break the barrier between us and the Western life, and also to customize what defines us as Africans. We need to adapt to the new technologies and try to bring about, make it a living as we are Africans, and then also try to blend the technologies that are surrounding us, because we, like it or not, we need to adapt to the change. I know most of us, we are afraid of change, so you need to adapt to this new era of digital. We are living in a digital world, so that space, we needed to close that gap of being Africanized, and at the same time have our own technology that defines us.
That's actually quite interesting in terms of you saying we're keeping what we have, but we joining in the future. Do you consider the program of what you're doing to be popular amongst Generation Z kids, or do you feel like there's still this space where it's not the first choice of preference for young people to say, I want to study this, I want to enter this field, considering the fact that Generation Z loves technology, they live for TikTok? So do you feel like it's a slow movement, it's a quicker movement, or we still have a lot of work to do to get people onto learning the kind of programs that you have managed to be qualified and educated in?
Yes, I think it's not just about the generation that makes IT critical.
Okay.
It is about the transformation in doing things in a digital ecosystem. So because ICT is just a lecturer, and it is an important skill that is able to drive the economy of the country, and effectively to deliver services, and also as entrepreneurs, it is very much important to have this element of ICT in order for you to be efficient in what you're doing. So, and also to just elaborate more, that in the ongoing nowadays we are facing the issue of where we are supposed to transform the whole. Remember that we used to study physically, and then now we needed to change to the space of going digital and having to study through Zoom and all those platforms that are available. And even now we are having interviews online and digitally. We never thought of such such times. I don't know whether it caught that off guard, but yeah, here we are. I think it was a great opportunity for us to blend into this new way of living. I guess it came at the right time.
It's actually taking me back to, in terms of what you're saying, we now in digital literacy, and this month we saw celebrating literacy in general across the world in the beginning of September. And a huge point made was what you're talking about, digital literacy. But we saw how crucial it was in terms of accessibility for students to be able to learn, but they just didn't have the resources. They didn't have the equipment. They didn't have, the internet space as well. And yet you found yourself already in programs such as opening a business, going out and tutoring and mentoring young kids, teaching, secondary kids that this is the new space you want to enter to. Why and how did you find that so crucial before it even really happened? Because it only really gave the attention of the world now to say, yeah, we've been struggling with how kids are learning, but this is on another platform where they already have difficult struggles. But you already, before all of that, said, okay, I'm going to teach these young kids to say, when you enter higher education, this is what you were to expect. How did you have that trigger before it really happened?
Yes, I think it goes back to my background of being eager to learn. I think going back, growing as young as growing as an underprivileged person, growing up, I think if you can recall, we used to have what we call video games, and those things that you saw from friends, you didn't own it, so. Those things they drove us as young black individuals that one day I would like to own such a thing, and I grew much interest in this thing of technology, and now we have PlayStation 5, and if you can see that the transformation from those video games to the new video game that we call PlayStation 5 that we have now, it tells you how technology is moving. So we need to adapt to the movement of the technology, and it goes back to saying you must you need to be proactive. You need to think ahead. You have to be ahead of your competitors. So in life, it goes about being competitive. As an individual, you need to be competitive. So I think to answer your question is that I had to be proactive. I had to think of the future. I had to think of what's coming, because there are people who can see the future and see where we're going as a country. So I think it came about at the right time.
Yeah. No more 50 cents to play. Is it what is it called? Pac-Man.
Yeah, those definitely.
So how far are you with your dreams of having PlayStations? Have we gotten there, or are we still working towards it?
I don't dream of owning one. Actually, I dream of developing one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so incredible to hear. We're going to be talking about the business that you're in. For the mere fact that you're even saying, I want to be creating, I'm past now just envying playing with it. Your business is mobile. Just that alone speaks volumes, in the sense that you're saying being a forward thinker of tomorrow, and it's you put two and two together. You said, no, I got to physically get there to make things happen. But one thing that really stands out is the fact that the idea of business has been driven for a while in terms of a level of success, but we never speak about true challenges, true struggles, especially at the beginning of a business. Would you like to share what you feel are struggles you may have encountered, or what you feel are struggles and challenges for ICT, information and digitalization, that you feel are areas that need to be looked into for problem solving, and areas that are definitely going to be critical to touch on in the future?
Okay. Yes. I think that's a very interesting question, because starting a business is not just waking up and then saying, I need to start a business. You need to have a proper plan, and You need to be psychologically ready for any circumstances. And we, as young as we are, starting a business, we needed to know that a business, it's either it fails or it succeeds. So it's in between. It's either you make profit or you make a loss. So there were so many struggles when we started the business.
Yeah.
And also, when you are working in a new space, in a new environment, especially IT. IT is something that we adopted as Africans. It's not something that we grew up with. So we needed to do some research. We needed to look at disadvantages and the advantages of starting such a business. And also, that there are already companies that are providing such services that are well known. So one of the challenges was to get into the customer base, to be trusted, and if your services is of quality. Because now to be new in the industry and having to introduce a product to people, you need to be that good. I guess. And if you have those people who are already there and who are already established, you needed to break that. You need to bridge that gap. And I think the barriers were there, but we needed to break those barriers.
So true, because we were literally just before we were looking at the fact that one of those barriers is, like we keep saying, accessibility, and that concepts and solutions such as public and private, big and small companies finally having synergy and working together ultimately is one of the ideas how we can break the same barriers. Do you feel that we're still in competition, especially as a smaller business against the larger corporations? Or do you feel that there's slowly the concept of idea, even if it's spoken about, finally coming to the table to say, we need to work with you young guys. We need to work with smaller companies to grow and build you so that you can be the people of tomorrow, like you keep saying? Or do you still feel there's still a huge divide where you big, you there, I'm small, I'm this side?
Yes, I think being competitive and comparing ourselves to bigger businesses, we had to bring the element of differ. We had to differ, because if you look at our competitors, most of their clients, they go to them. You need to go to town. You need money to go to town to go and get your services. So us being a mobile company, a small mobile company, I think the element of us bringing the service to the clients was the difference. So I think it goes back saying that in order to break those barriers, you need to be different to your competitors, because they're already there, and yourself, you need to bring something different that they don't provide or offer to their clients.
Look, I commend you. Highly creative, hey? Not something you hear all the time for people to take different, at least branding or advertising routes. And it was crazy enough because we were also seeing how people have been speculating that schools may have been killing creativity. Do you feel that creativity is helped or broken by through the internet basis, or do you feel like the school curriculum or the school structuring system doesn't give you enough space to be as creative as you need to be?
I think for us, the platform is already there. Sometimes you don't need the school to define you, to define where you want to go. So now we already have the gadgets as Africans. They are already there. The material is there. We have the knowledge, and we have already people who we look up to, who can as well supervise us and guide us to be where we want to be. So what I can say is that if we have the ideas, you already have the space. You already have Google that can help you. That's a very powerful tool that can give you any information that you want. And I believe that it's not about the educational system. It's about an individual and on how you use what you are given in terms of in terms of are you using the materials that you have effectively or not.
Case in point, people, if you just missed out what happened, he literally just proved to you what proactivity is and taking initiative looks like. We were feeling like the school might be killing our creativity system, but same thing you were saying. You come from a very difficult background. You didn't always have access to these tools and technology, but you're in a space now that's available to you, and you took the initiative, you took the proactivity to utilize it and use what you already know and you have. Hashtag that. I just had to make sure that I highlighted that. But I always pose this kind of question, back to business as well. It's coming across as though business is the new hustling, or at least hustling is the new business of the world. And slowly there's this huge conversation in terms of that fight between, gosh, do I still go to school? Do I still have this whole higher education learning experience? Or do I just jump straight into this hustling business world and do things for myself and make it out there? You have the best of both worlds. What would you honestly share in your experiences about, especially for young people looking at you and saying, I want to be able to do what he does. I want to be able to achieve, even if it's an inkling of it. But I don't know if I want to go to school, or I don't know if this is the route for me. What do you speak about when education, but also the idea of hustling and business comes to mind? Should we fight between the two? Should we have the best of both worlds, or you just do what works for you?
I think blending the two would give you a perfect combination. So it gives you an extra element of you are ahead of your peers or competitors. So even though it's not about competition, though having to blend both hustling and also having education, I believe that education is there to help you grow your business. Hustling is there to help you grow your business as well. So I think the two, they are most driving factor of you to be successful in life. And also it goes about being patient, and you need to be patient, you need to be persistent, you need to believe in what you're doing. You need to sell your dreams to make people believe that you can do that. And also you yourself, it's all about yourself as well. Are you dedicated enough to achieve your goals? And you know that it's not an easy road to go to, but you need to enjoy it in order to get the fruits of what you are planting.
Yes. Did you hear that? You got to work hard, guys. Things will not fall from the sky. But just in us wrapping up this conversation, we have to touch on cybersecurity. We have to talk about the fact that there's something about this medium, especially if you're not knowledgeable about it, scares us. Do you feel there is a level of resistance, especially from Africans, that they're so fearful of entering, digital spaces and internet spaces because they don't know if it can hurt or harm us? And even though we know in a realistic, practical scale, everything has its pros, its cons. At the end of the day, it seems the cons are almost outweighing as taking opportunities as well. What is your comment about cybersecurity in general, and your viewpoint on how we should start approaching our belief systems about it? Because we saw last week there was a little bit of a feud or some sort of confusion between two financial institutions where funds are being deducted twice, but it comes from a different institution. And people are very sensitive about money. It's like that's the only time people have their eyes open for the first time, where you're like, no, my money. But that went to open a conversation of, do you even know what you're accessing the time you went to start these programs that you're in? And then now we literally saw an article, something as silly as you sharing a charger could easily give away your personal information as well. So we only find ourselves in the moment when something happens, starting to have that light bulb. Oh my gosh, safety, security. What are my kids even having access to the internet? Are they looking at things they're not supposed to? Is our mental mind frame not at the best place? Or is it in a space where we should be more concerned as well?
You have touched a very sensitive topic. But yeah, I think we really need an awareness in terms of cybersecurity. Yeah, we really need that. So I'll just, maybe I won't go deep to that, but yeah. But what I can comment on that is that back then we are now in a digital space. Now criminals they don't have to come to you physically. We are in a digital world. You are on the fourth industrial revolution. So even criminals themselves, they have advanced to a level whereby they have to be in the fourth industrial in their acts as well. So it's what we call cyber crimes. So while we are fighting crime physically, they also moving towards their own revolution. We are living in a space where we are facing these cyber criminals. Where what I can say is that if you can take a look at back then, as we were very skeptical about giving someone your ID copy or whatsoever, sharing your information. And you know what technology did now? What they did was that they brought us about smartphones, and then they say use your fingerprint, and then you unlock your phone, and it's linked to your your information, and it means that you are sharing your data, you are sharing your ID. So we need those awareness or cybersecurity awareness, where I feel like and as well what happens to maybe perhaps the financial institutions. I think there was somehow maybe a security breach, but I think I don't want to comment much on the financial.
No, not at all. I think it's just the concept of it's nothing new to us, but it's the fact that it's still happening. And even before what happened with these two financial institutions, guys, identity theft hasn't, it's not like you said, it's nothing new. It was different back then. I just love the fact that you mentioned something so prevalent. In case people didn't follow, it was about perspective, and the fact that even though it might be a popular opinion, which you guys know me for, I don't mind saying it, but even criminals have to upgrade their system. So I think it just speaks volumes in terms of what you're saying. Every single person, every industry, every platform indirectly is forced to upscale. And the reality now comes back, where you even showing me right now, is that we all need to just figure out everybody's upscale and how it really can affect one another. So I don't think whether you're criminal or not really has an effect on what we see as cybersecurity, but really the fact even normal civilians can do the craziest things by accident and find themselves in a detrimental space as well. So yeah, that poses my question now. Awareness. I love your solution. Are you going to be implementing a awareness program? I mean, you are running a business. You are teaching young people. Is it there already, or is it coming?
Currently, I'm involved in a cybersecurity platform where we bring about that awareness. It's a UMP collab. We call it a collab. So it speaks up measures in cybersecurity. So yeah, there are those. we have that in place at the moment, but we need the platform. We need people to train. We need people who are interested, and also there's an opportunity for, if people are looking for an opportunity to to maybe have a profession. There's an opportunity for cyber security in the cyber security, because most of companies now they need to be secured, and also us as beings, we also need to we'd love to work in an environment that we know that it's secured. And even if, let's say, you are saving your money somewhere, so you must know what when you are sleeping, your money is safe. So there's that, we have that in place in that I can say. We are working on a program that I'm involved in that program. So.
Absolutely incredible. Armstrong, to close things off, where do we see you? What are we going to expect from you in the upcoming years? Because, hey, I'm like, we need to watch this space. What are we watching for?
I think my hope that I'm hoping for Africa as a young African leader, we want to transform ICT solutions to speak to Africans. That's my goal, and we need to Africanize the technology. Yeah. We are in a Heritage Month, and if I can ask you, my sister, that if you can go online, can you search any online platform where you can buy amapeshu, or you can buy umhlonyane, or you can buy an African product? Looking at, I would like to comment if there are a lot of platforms like Take a Lot. If we can make an example, yes. Can you go on Take a Lot to go and buy amapeshu? Can you get that? So I feel like we need to have those things. We need to bridge that gap. We need to take technology, make it African. It's good to accept the change of technology, but it must speak to us. It must speak to us as Africans. We need to customize the technology to speak to Africans. And I think from now on, I need maybe in the next few weeks, I need to see an African product that is in those platforms. I need to buy amapeshu. I need someone to go and order amapeshu online. So I will appreciate it.
Well, hello, I appreciate it already, and I'm going to have to give you this explosion because you are definitely one for that. I had to give it to you. You're definitely out there making such marks. Oh my gosh, Armstrong, thank you so much for just sharing your time. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences, and I bless in the sense that you continue doing so, inspiring other younger people to say that things are very different, but what you have proven today is that you're taking each change as they are and making it better for tomorrow. And please continue doing so on your platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, my sister.
Bye-bye. Yeah, man. She is still here with you. And Zaba D just came through with Armstrong. So let's take a short break. And as we wrap things up here on the Morning Elevation.
All over the place. We're online 24/7. You're listening to the hottest